Oakland A's UK. Oakland A's UK. The Oakland A's UK. The Oakland A's UK. Hello and welcome to Oakland A's UK. I'm Matt Smith, and like all of you, I'm sure, I'm counting down the days to Wednesday the 20th of March. That's when the A's get the 2019 MLB season underway, with the first of two games against the Seattle Mariners in Tokyo, Japan. Now, they're going to be perfect viewing time for us in the UK, being a 9:30 a.m. first pitch. But Dom and Hannah, my two fellow A's UK crew members, are going one better because they're going to be out there in Japan watching the games in person. So, ahead of that trip, I thought I'd have a good catch up with Dom to talk about the A's UK movement, Dom and Hannah's plans for the Japan trip, and also generally looking at the state of the Oakland A's, both the team and the organisation as a whole.
Cool. All right. So where did Oakland A UK start? So there was, oh man, what is the Twitter account that asked everyone to set one up?
Yeah, I'm not sure. So yeah,
it's the purple one.
It was
the purple logo.
I can't think. Yeah, so it all started by I can't think who it was now, but they were doing kind of a list of all of the UK Twitter accounts, MLB Twitter accounts.
Yeah,
and I think it came up there that there wasn't an A's one, which was surprising to me because I knew through tweeting to you and Hannah and other people that there were quite a good little group of A's fans over here. So I think I had a look at it and thought, oh, I'd like to be involved in this, but I already do lots of baseball stuff on my website. So I thought, oh, I don't want to get myself too deep into this. So I think I kind of put the tweet out there saying, anyone keen to kind of take this on, and you bravely put your hand up for it, I remember.
Yeah, so I was quite happy to do it. My sister lives in Alameda, which is why I'm an A's fan. And I just thought, we as you say, there was a few of us already tweeting at each other and watching games together in the evenings and stuff when they were at UK friendly times. And to sort of formalise it a little bit just seemed to make sense. And I think the first tweet we got was the A's saying hello. So
yeah, that's a pretty good start, isn't it? Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's grown and grown. We've got over 1,000 followers now. I think probably a handful of them are actually British.
Yeah, that's interesting because obviously Joey Baseball Brit does a lot of work to kind of keep an update on the followers on all the Twitter accounts. And I think it's interesting to see. Probably very difficult to do, but how many of those are actually British fans and how many are American ones? And I don't think that's an issue. I really like the way in which kind of fans in Oakland, for example, kind of take to the fact that there's us kind of crazy Brits here who are getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and watching games and also going over to Oakland to watch them too. And I know you and Hannah have been out there quite a few times with your A's UK flags, and it seems like you get a great kind of reception from fans and they're very welcoming to you.
We do, absolutely. So the fans in Oakland are absolutely superb. We went as a group last year in the summer. I'd been before with my family. Hannah had been before on her own as well. But as a group, we just got such a big welcome. We were invited to tailgates. We were given tickets to games. We were given tickets by some supporters to go to the A's State of the Nation address thing, where we saw like Billy Bean and other A's hierarchy, Ken Korak, etc. So that was absolutely fantastic. It's just fantastic. Oh, and we were invited on one night. We got on the big screen with Cara.
Yes, I saw there's photos on the Facebook account, I think.
Yeah, and then like A's from like better seats came and like were like, come and sit with us, and like kept upgrading us. We ended up right behind the dugout. So yeah. They're so welcoming, the A's fans in Oakland. It's really nice to interact with them on Twitter and follow them back. Really, it gives you a sense of the pulse and the heartbeat of the team, following the fans rather than just the organisation itself.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I always think, the A's kind of get a bad rap in the sense of the Coliseum being a dated stadium and the attendance figures aren't necessarily that big, but most baseball fans will realise that actually the A's fans that go are some of the most passionate, dedicated, loyal fans there are in baseball.
The right field crew, especially, are just fantastic. They call themselves Family with a capitalised A. They're just superb. Following them over the winter and everything, they meet up all the time. I think they've just all been together in Arizona I'm hoping in August to go and invade the bleachers in San Francisco with them.
Oh, that would be good.
Really,
Yeah,
really
get a bit of a takeover event. Yeah, that sounds good. And you also, I think, is it the New York A's fans you've also kind of met up with?
Yeah, so I met them first, actually. So for quite a while, been going out to the Yankees series, and when it's the Mets series, prefer the Mets ones. We tend to win more and they're nicer fans. But yeah, so met Jay and Stephen, who run the New York A's group. They're also really nice guys. Stephen's from sort of Lancashire, same as myself and Hannah. There seems to be this bizarre link with Lancashire and the Oakland A's, which actually gets referenced in the New York Oakland A's banner, where it says East River, East Bay, East Lancs.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Good.
So yeah, it's they're great guys as well. So I'm going to be meeting Jay out in Pittsburgh in May. So should meet up with those guys as well, and I think a few of the right field crew are going to Pittsburgh too, so we'll see them there as well.
Oh, that sounds good. Were they the guys you would try to get doing your Shaw Mania song?
Yeah, there's a video somewhere on Twitter of us doing Shaw Mania.
Yeah, I know the one. So one thing I'm trying to start up doing with the YouTube account is I'm doing lots of little videos. So I'm building up some videos for each player. So like there's a Matt Olson one for Ole, going deep and all of that sort of stuff. So I'm going to have a whole batch of them ready to go so we can play them on Twitter every time something happens.
We'll video us in Tokyo doing a new Matt Chapman chant that I've come up with. So we'll get that added as well.
Oh, brilliant. Looking forward to that one. So that leads nicely to your trip to Japan. So we've got the two games against Seattle coming up. So Wednesday and Thursday, 20th and 21st. So I've been looking forward to them because they're great times for us in the UK at 9:30 in the morning. Got the days booked off work. So I'm really looking forward to watching those. But you and Hannah have got the best seats in the house because you're actually going to be out there in Tokyo, Japan. So what's your plan for going out there? What games are you going to see and where you're getting to sit?
So I'm flying out on Friday, land on Saturday because of the time difference. Hannah and I are meeting up and going to the second friendly and both the MLB games, so both the games against Seattle. Quite excited to see the Nippon Ham Fighters, who might have one of the best names in all of baseball.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one, isn't it? Yeah.
Quite excited to just see the fans out there, to see the Tokyo Dome. And then obviously, the show, the major league games when they start. We've been tweeting at a few people who we met last year out in Oakland and previous years who are also going out there. So looking forward to meeting up with some friendly faces out there. And of course, we'll be taking the flags. I've written down where we are just in case anyone does want to come and find us. I mean, look out for the flags, but we are in the Excite seats, which apparently means we might have to wear batting helmets.
Oh, that sounds good.
For the second friendly. And then in Panorama D20 for game 1 and section A09 for game 2. So come find us. We will happily drink beers with you and chant on the A's.
That sounds good. Yeah, because it's one of the things about the Japanese baseball culture where, it's a lot more involved. They have songs for every player and things like that. So I think you certainly hear from the MLB players saying it was very different to kind of playing in America. So sounds like a great event. And I was just looking through the details of the game. So it looks like the first friendly against the Nippon Ham Fighters will kind of be a bullpen game. Second one, it should be Brett Anderson starting. And then the two major league games, it should be Mike Fiers and Marco Gonzalez on the mound. And then game 2 is Marco Estrada and Yusei Kikuchi. So with Kikuchi there, that obviously there's also talk that Ichiro will make the roster too. So I suspect we'll need your fans, your flags wavings and your chants because I suspect the locals will be supporting Seattle in that one.
We'll make plenty of noise. We always do. We made plenty of noise in Seattle last year.
Good. It was funny actually because thinking over the years, I mean, the big story on Seattle the last few days has been that Felix Hernandez won't be the opening day starter. And, it seems like loads of times in the past 10 years, we've had to face Seattle in the opening day. And we always seem to face King Felix and he always seems to pitch really well against us. So this is the first time I would have been quite happy to have faced King Felix because he's not much of a king anymore. And unfortunately, we won't get to. So that's a bit of a disappointment. But yeah, it should be great. I mean, I'm kind of jealous and it should be a great event for you. And you're also meeting up, I think, with Joey Baseball Brit as well.
Yeah, so Joey tweeted at us just before the tickets came out, I sent him the link that we were kindly provided with by some friends of ours in Oakland. So I think he's hopefully got seats near us. We'll definitely meet up with him for drinks anyway. And hopefully maybe grab him and get him on our YouTube video as well.
Should be good, yeah, because he's certainly making waves out there and kind of living the dream, really, isn't he?
He's a minor celebrity now. I'm going to get his autograph.
Yeah, we're asking for a selfie when you first see him. So I mean, looking back slightly to last year, I'm kind of just about got over the wildcard game. I think it was one of those things whereby it was such a great season, and there was this kind of inevitability that it might end up with the Yankees beating us at the end of it, unfortunately. But it was such a kind of surprise in some ways how well the team played, especially from kind of mid-June on. What do you expect for this season? It's going to be hard to replicate it, I think, but I'm certainly optimistic for what we can do this year.
I think we'll do better than people are predicting, but we always seem to get bad predictions. Last year, I think they said we were going to come bottom.
Yeah,
so,
that's normal. And to be honest, I think the A's were the sort of team that we quite like being kind of talked down and being the underdogs, really.
Yeah, absolutely, I think we thrive on being the underdogs. A lot will depend on the pitching. We know we've got the bats. We know we've got the infield in terms of defence. It's a lot's going to get down to the pitching and also that bullpen.
Yeah, I mean that was it was such a strength last year, and when people often talk about a bullpen, it can kind of go up and down between different years, but we've got a lot of arms there. Like you say, the starting pitching is the big question mark with the A's, and I think the reality is we're starting off with a group. It's going to change quite a bit over the season like it did last year. And I know some people are still kind of holding out hope maybe for someone like Dallas Keuchel. I don't see that being realistic, but you do feel a little bit. I think it was Susan Slaughter I was listening to the other day, saying if we had one more starting pitcher, kind of a really good quality starting pitcher, that would make a big difference. And it's a bit of a shame that we haven't done it. Financially, probably not possible, but you do kind of feel that one extra piece potentially can make all the difference.
One more starting pitch is probably 10 more wins, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's a bit of a disappointment in that sense, but it gives opportunities for other players. I mean, Frankie Montas is one who I thought looked really good at times last year. He's out of options, so he's almost definitely going to make the roster. And he's the sort of player who I think could really step up given the opportunity. And also, we've got the promise of Jesus Lozado, who trying to not to get too too excited just yet, because we saw last year with AJ Puck, we were all excited about him, and then his arm gave way. So, but all of the reports from spring training are saying he looks amazing, and it's just a question of whether he's going to make the team on opening day in a week on Thursday the 28th, or if it's going to be a month or so down the line before we get to see him.
I think it's inevitable that we'll get him in Oakland. I'm excited by it. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of if you can't get excited about the young players and the prospects, there's just no point following the A's.
There isn't, no, I mean that's reality. I was looking ahead to kind of the off season when we get into it, and I thought, well, what are we going to do? We're not in the situation we've been in the past where we kind of want to rebuild, so we're trading away players. At the same time, we're not a team that's going to be going out and spending money. So if we're not bringing through those young players and kind of making stars out of Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, Ramon Laureano, people like that who come up and really surprise everyone, then, we've kind of got no chance. And it's those players like Laureano who really make it so exciting as an A's fan, because nobody really thought much of him when we signed him. It was kind of a minor move, no one really noticed, but the way he came up, especially his defense, was absolutely outstanding last year.
That throw, was it against the Angels?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
that was one for the highlight reel from last season.
Certainly was. Yeah, it was kind of a bit of a throwback to Yoenis Cespedes, wasn't it, that one?
Yes, exactly. That's just what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Absolutely hope that the if the team has got any money, they should be signing Chris Davis long term. That would be what you'd hope.
It would be, yeah. I mean, I think the issue with Chris Davis is that when you look at the free agent market and those types of players, they're not necessarily getting big deals. So it's kind of what is the fair deal for him to accept? Because he's come out and been quite clear. He loves being in Oakland. He's happy to stay. He knows he's not looking for the most money necessarily. He just wants a fair deal. And it's kind of, well, is that, say, a 3-year deal on $36 million, or is that too light? I don't know. It's difficult. I think that's the problematic thing with Davis. When you look at the market, it's difficult to know quite what a fair deal would look like for him until he gets to the free agent market, really.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know if it was you or Hannah that tweeted that if Bryce is worth 300 million, what is Chris Davis worth?
I thought it was you actually. So by a series of deduction, it must have been Hannah.
Yeah, but I liked that tweet.
Yeah, and it got liked by a lot of people as well. Yeah. To be fair, I wouldn't have minded us signing Bryce Harper really, but there we go.
Oh no, I was quite for him to go elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, looking at our rivals, none of them have really done anything. I did wonder if the Astros might be in on someone like Harper, because he was the sort of player who might fit in well with them. But, the Astros have lost a few pitchers, but still look very strong. The Angels always seems to get hyped by the media, but I don't really, other than Mike Trout, who's obviously amazing, I don't really see that they've done much, and Seattle and the Rangers not doing much either. So I don't see there being any reason why we can't, at the very least, be competing for the wild card, if not potentially pushing on and trying to push the Astros for the AL West, because the wild card hasn't been very kind to us the 2 times we've done it so far, has it?
No, it's been horrific, but
that's a good word for it, actually. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the Yankees one, because we went behind right at the start, it didn't feel quite so painful because you kind of saw it coming. The Royals one was just, that took weeks to get over, that one.
I don't know, the Yankees one was so frustrating because we just didn't give a good account of ourselves. It was like they just couldn't relax. It felt like a young team that just...
Yeah, their first time there in that sort of atmosphere, that sort of game, yeah.
Yeah, it was tough to watch because you just felt so bad for them because they were so much better than they were giving account of themselves.
Yeah, and it is the thing with the wildcard game, that's the part of the idea of introducing it, was to kind of bring back the importance of trying to win your division. You want to avoid that wildcard game because you only have to have one off day and you're gone, you're out of there. That's the end of your season. So if the A's can avoid it, the Astros are going to be really difficult to beat. I think we'd probably be relying on them getting a few injuries, which you don't want to say, but that's probably being realistic. But I do think we can push them hard, and I think it's the same old situation. People are underestimating us this year again.
I think the key to it is playing them. Every year you look at our stats and we're monsters against teams not in the AL West.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and a bit more, but that's the way you can, we've got 19 games against the Astros this year. If we can make a dent in them there, then that's our best chance of probably catching them down, really.
Win half of those and we'd have finished above them.
Yeah. Yeah, I know everyone can play those what if games, but it's absolutely true. And it's those opportunities we've got. I haven't looked at the schedule as to when we're playing them kind of near the end of the season, because that's sometimes the issue now with interleague play all year long. You're sometimes not getting to play your rivals right at the sharp end, but hopefully we get a chance to do that, because it makes the end of the season all the more exciting when you're battling against your nearest rivals, and kind of winner takes all, really.
Yeah, like in 2012.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that Josh Hamilton losing that fly ball and all of that. I remember jumping up and down in my flat that day. Yeah, that was a good one. It's one of the dangers of being a fan in the UK. That was actually a day game, I think, looking back on it. But yeah, one of the dangers of being a fan in the UK is you're there wrapped up in the moment, just all engrossed in it, and then you're jumping up and down cheering and realising it's 5:30 in the morning and your neighbours aren't very happy with you, kind of thing.
Yep, been there, done that.
Yeah, it's the UK British baseball way.
Waking up my wife on the way back into bed to tell her the A's have won. She doesn't want to know.
Where's the spirit, A's? She should be supporting you on your A's adventure.
Oh, she loves the A's, as do the kids. So one of the things we're doing in Oakland this summer is the Stompa Stomp.
Oh yes, they've changed that up a little bit, haven't they? Something in the stadium.
Yeah, they've made like a family area. That isn't actually what I meant. The Stompa Stomp's like a charity run type thing that Stompa does, so the kids get to run with Stompa and meet him.
Oh, that sounds good.
So that'd be ace. We'll also try and get in that family area. It's near the right field crew, so that works for me.
That's good. Yeah, it's been really, the difference in kind of the tone and mood of the A's since Dave Gaval has taken over, and it's really been night and day since when kind of Lou Wilf was the figurehead, and it was all seemed very negative of the A's kind of wanting to get out of Oakland. And now it's very much more, we're in Oakland, we want to stay here. And they're doing things, even things like the Treehouse, investing in the Coliseum, even though we don't want to be there for too much longer. It's really kind of showing the A's fans that, we are committed to you, because I think A's fans certainly have felt over the years that that's not been the case. And people can keep kind of having a go at A's fans for not turning out. The club and the organisation has to give you a reason to want to care. And it's, it has felt over the past 10, 15 years, there's been plenty of times over that period when that hasn't really seemed like the case, really.
So, I mean, the A's had the biggest attendance in all of Major League Baseball last year. Let's kick off with that.
That's very true, actually, yeah, with the free game.
The Coliseum. I mean, the Coliseum gets so much crap talked about it. It's a great stadium. Yeah, okay, it's old, and by American standards, it belongs in a museum, but it's functional.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I know some Mets fans who kind of still hark back to Shea Stadium, which even they thought was a dump, but it was their dump kind of thing. It still had that character in a way that Citi Field, though it's a lovely place, it doesn't quite feel like the Mets even now kind of thing.
Well, so some of the baseball grounds I've been to, you see somewhere like Fenway, it's obviously steeped in history, it's lovely. Then you go somewhere like, I forget the name, but the White Sox ground, is it Comerica Park or something like that?
It changes every year. Yeah, that's the thing with baseball ballparks, they keep changing their names. I can't remember what it is at the moment.
It's just soulless. There's nothing special about it. It's awful. I'd almost, especially if the Raiders move out and we can keep the field nice, I don't know if ripping down Mount Davis would be an option. You'd almost be happy staying in the Coliseum. That said, the details for the new stadium look amazing. Hope that they go through. Totally agree with you about Dave Cavall. I mean, it was a low bar, but he has vaulted it in terms of improving the relationship with the fans. And really, the Rooted in Oakland thing has done that. I think it's just relaxed the local fans. You see it with the Raiders. They're so anti-Oakland. Similarly with the Warriors, Oakland's a great city. It deserves a proud sports heritage, and just committing to Oakland's the best thing the A's can do right now, because they'll keep their fans. Hopefully, the city gets behind them and gets this stadium built.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's sad for fans in Oakland who love all of the teams, but for the A's, really, the fact that the Raiders are going, the Warriors are going, it kind of plays into the A's hands because they're really the only thing left, and therefore it's kind of to Oakland. The city officials is kind of, do you want to lose everyone? Come on, with your team, we're still here. We've got a very proud tradition in this city. Back us and help us bring this great new ballpark to life. Which, like you say, the images we've seen so far is always a bit pessimistic because we've seen good images from other ballparks in the past which haven't come to pass. But the design of them so far, it looks really special, and it would be amazing if it actually comes back.
So, I mean, Dave Cavall's got a track record. He got a stadium built in San Jose for the Quakes. Hopefully, he can get it done. You build that stadium at Howard Terminal. You get tourists coming over on the ferry. You get fans coming across on the bar and taking the gondola. You get people walking. You get bars, and that whole area will turn into a really nice. But it is already a nice area, to be fair. But it'll get bars and attract that type of retail and leisure facilities that you want around a stadium, and it'll be great. And they can redevelop the Coliseum, and that'll probably finance the whole thing.
Yeah, because that's it's a very valid point with sports stadiums about these billion-dollar sports teams wanting public money to build stadiums, and it's absolutely right in this day and age that these billion-dollar teams should be looking to finance it themselves. But that's what the A's are doing. It's privately financed, and it is a thing where the economists can kind of look at how big the financial benefit is of teams building new ballparks. It's sometimes a bit kind of something to be debated, but there's no question that for Oakland now with the A's, it would be such a big thing to build a great new ballpark for the team and really kind of cement the fact that Oakland is the home of the A's. The A's are one of only 30 MLB teams, and that's something for them to be proud of.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the finances behind it, etc. People will do it to death on Twitter and online. The A's are blessed and cursed by being a team in California, which is a bankrupt state because of the Reagan law around raising taxes, etc. They shouldn't be they can't finance their schools. They shouldn't be financing stadiums. So I'm absolutely fine with the city not giving them money for it. What the city needs to do, though, is make sure that the Raiders pay off the debt on the Coliseum before they leave.
Yeah, and that's a long ongoing issue, isn't it? Yeah, and I mean it's the same thing. Like you talked about earlier about the Coliseum, and if Mount Davis hadn't been built, that absolute atrocity in centre field, it was when you look back at the pictures of it before Mount Davis, it looks like a really nice ballpark, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, it was. I didn't see it. My first game was in '97. The opening game that year, which is actually Stompa's first game as well. So me and Stompa have that connection.
I know, long history together then, yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't see it in those days. But obviously, you look at the pictures; it looks phenomenal with the hills in the background.
Yeah, it's a shame really, but hopefully, now we've got these plans. Dave Cavall is on the case. Hopefully it's all going to lead a few years down the line to a great new ballpark with the gondola. That looks really good, doesn't it? And just to, it does really feel, and I think more than anything, it's not just that there's a good feeling, is that there's a feeling of this isn't just a good idea, it's something we really genuinely believe is going to happen. And that's all down to Dave Cavall and his staff in how they've kind of had to rebuild trust in Oakland, but they've done it. And I think everyone is really positive and hoping that this all comes about. And because, the A's are such a great team. And as I say, there is a really passionate fan base there. For all they might get knocked in US national media, there's a great fan base there. And if we can just get a better ballpark and, there's no reason why we can't be a really successful, even more successful team than we are already.
Absolutely, and it's not just Dave Cavall. So Chris Giles has done great work as well with the fans in terms of making it accessible. So the A's Access, which is the new way of having a season ticket out there, is fantastic. For very little money, people can just be in the stadium. They can be watching the game from the treehouse. They can basically personalise the ticket packs. He's made it more accessible, and they need to carry that over to any new stadium.
Yeah. And, like I say, it all seems really positive. And when you look at the young talent we've got currently, and players like Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Luzardo coming up, AJ Puck, Sean Murphy as well, who sounds like a really exciting catching prospect. There's no reason for us not to be excited and not to be positive. And I really do think that when you look at how the AL West is now, the Astros aren't going away anytime soon, but they have got pitchers. Verlander and Garrett Cole are out of contract at the end of this year. Yes, the Angels, Rangers, Mariners, they're likely to come back at some point, but there's no reason why the A's can't always be battling. And that's one thing I love about the A's. Much as they're a low revenue team, people talk about Moneyball all the time. One of the key hallmarks of Billy Beane's time, especially in the last 10 years, is that they don't really go into big rebuilding modes. Yes, they may strip back a bit, but they're always looking to add interesting players so that, like last year, if there is a chance to potentially go for it in a year, they're not going to miss out on it. They're going to have a go. And I think that's a really exciting thing as a fan, to feel like your team is always trying to have a go, because that's certainly not the case with plenty of teams in MLB this year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're not in rebuild mode at the minute. I absolutely agree. And Billy Beane, as frustrating as he can be, so not all the deals have been great.
Do you think about Josh Donaldson by any chance?
Possibly, yeah. That and Cespedes as well.
Yeah, that was really, it was one of those ones where you suspected the numbers stacked up, but the impact on the team of losing a guy like Cespedes really made it, a bad move, basically.
Yeah, and the Halliday deal as well. I mean, you signed a guy that didn't want to play for us, and yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting, actually. When I was looking at the Manny Machado deal with the Padres, I was kind of started thinking, when was the last time we signed someone in an off-season that really got me excited? And to be honest, it was the Matt Holliday trade when we traded for him, because I thought, wow, that's not the sort of player the A's would normally get. But within like 2 months, that turned into a complete disaster, because he clearly didn't want to be here, couldn't wait to get out. And we then spent the next how many years watching Carlos Gonzalez playing brilliantly for the Rockies. So, yeah, I mean, it's always the way, isn't it? People like Billy Beane have got to have a try, and it's not always going to come off on them. But it seems to come off more for Billy Beane and David Forst more times than not, to be honest.
Yeah, no, yeah. They make it exciting with the trades. Just don't trade away the young guys this time round, guys.
No. I mean, it's already, people are already looking at extensions and Matt Chapman and the fact that he's represented by Scott Boras. So the people are already looking, well, that's not going to happen. But and even people are talking about Blake Trinan, that he's only got one more season under contract after this season, and he got a big raise in arbitration this year. So it's like, oh, well, maybe if things don't go well, we'll trade him away. I mean, it's a shame that that's the way things go, but that's kind of the reality we have as A's fans, that, you know, we know players tend to come and go quite quickly. And that's the one thing we all hope. One, with Chris Davis, because he's clearly somebody who wants to stay, and there are plenty of free agents who have put good money on the table and simply haven't want to come here. So we want to try and get him hooked down, but also looking ahead to that new ballpark. That is kind of one of the key things that's been sold about the new ballpark, is that we'll have a bit more chance to actually keep hold of our players, rather than always having that churn of, you know, you fall in love with a player for 3 or 4 years, but then he's off again and you're trying to rebuild again.
They need to keep a team together to put a team on the field when they get a new field. They can't put a losing team out on a new park. So they're going to have an eye on that. It's just whether that's just too far away for them to extend the guys we've got right now. Yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, that date, it's about, I can't remember what date it was now. It was about 4 or 5 years down the line, wasn't it? And the A's, I think, lose their revenue sharing this year or next year, because that was one of the key drivers, that the MLB, basically the owners, had taken away the revenue sharing that the A's get on the basis of trying to force the ballpark issue, which is a bit annoying to me, because we had issues with like San Jose when it was being blocked. So you kind of wonder how much MLB has really helped the A's stay in Oakland. It does seem like certainly Rob Manfred, for all of the lunatic things he's doing with some of the pay-to-play stuff, he does actually seem committed to the A's finding a home in Oakland, which is quite rare. That certainly didn't seem to be the case with Bud Selig, but certainly Rob Manfred seems to be keen to keep the A's in Oakland.
I think the ownership wants to keep the A's in Oakland, and I think he's just reflecting that, to be honest.
Yeah, because he was always Lou Wilf's mate, wasn't he? So it did kind of, I don't know, to say it was dodgy, it would be the wrong word, but it did kind of feel like Lou Wilf had his developer hat on, particularly in going to San Jose. And yeah, that was certainly, it felt like that was kind of a root of a lot of the discontent among Oakland fans, that there really didn't seem to be a lot of genuine intent in terms of actually staying in Oakland, even though they were kind of saying that. It wasn't really true in some ways, but it certainly does feel like that now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you know, when they announced the 3 sites, they didn't get Laney College, but they, you know, I think Howard Turner will be great. And as a fallback option, if they can buy the Coliseum, that'll finance the whole thing if they redevelop it, or if they've got to put the stadium there if they can't get Howard Terminal to work. So I think the options are there now. They need to push to make it happen as soon as possible.
Yeah, certainly. And I'm sure we'll have a big A's UK meetup on the in the first year with a new ballpark when it does finally arrive. Let's hope so.
Absolutely, we'll come and take over the bleachers.
That's good to me. That sounds like a date for the diary, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. Well, it's been great to catch up with you, Dom, and yeah, really sounds like a fantastic trip to Japan. So we did talk about potentially you guys doing a live stream from out in Japan, maybe.
Yes, we'll try and get that working, assuming we can get our Wi-Fi and data working out there, which I'm sure we'll manage.
That'd be great. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of tweets and stuff on Instagram. So for the benefit of anyone, if I don't cover this later, it's Oakland A UK on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. So Dom and Hannah are all over loads, as am I. So yeah, thanks a lot for joining me, Dom. Yeah, it's going to be a great trip. And I'm really looking forward to kind of following you along on that journey.
Perfect. Cheers, Matt.
Right. Cheers. Good to catch up with you. Cheers. See ya. Looks like a fantastic trip is in store for Dom and Hannah then, so that's going to be great. And if you are going out to Tokyo, Japan as an A's fan, do keep an eye out for them. Somehow I suspect we may well see those A's UK flags flying high on the TV. That's something to look out for. So yeah, as we mentioned, we're going to be hopefully doing some live streams from Japan. That would be great. I'm also planning to do a live stream before both of the games, so maybe about 9 o'clock UK time. I'll do a quick live stream to kind of preview the game and look at the lineups and things like that. So that should be good fun to do. I'm also doing some post-game reactions as well. And that's all going to be kind of gearing up to the start of the MLB season proper, starting on Thursday, 28th. So over the course of the season, we're going to be developing lots of different videos, but doing things like game reactions and previewing series and looking back at series, kind of Oakland A player of the week and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully you enjoy all that stuff, and like, share and subscribe to the YouTube channel, of course. And as we mentioned, we've got the Oakland A UK accounts on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram to follow along to them, to follow along to the Japan trip and all of the stuff we have. Looking forward to opening day and the rest of the MLB season. I'm Matt Smith. Thanks a lot for watching. We're the Oakland